Holy blazes, Batman. It's the Greater Mythos podcast, a very unorganized podcast where we talk about video games, about movies and shows and everything in between. I'm Josh. You're Josh. We have new episodes every Friday. At least that's the goal. We strive for good things. We're here to chat, aren't we?
We're definitely here to chat as long as the technology listens to us.
The technology needs to approve.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm going to list off some new games coming out because some of them look pretty interesting, and I want you to let me know what you think of them.
I'm ready. I like being put on the spot.
So, I'm going to start with the top here. New Pokemon Snap coming out April 30th. Returnal, PS5 exclusive coming out April 30th. May 7th for Resident Evil Village with the giant vampire lady everybody loves. Knockout City, May 21st.
I just caught that. That was fun. Thank
Ratchet
you.
and Clank, the new one, June 11th. I think that is also a PS5 exclusive. Doesn't say anything about PS4, but it could also be coming there. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which I want to talk about later. And Mario Golf, Super Rush, Skyward Sword HD Remake, No More Heroes 3, Deathloop, and then a bunch of games that don't have exact dates yet, like Pokemon Remasters, Prince of Persia Remake, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which keeps getting delayed, Far Cry 6, which should be on even the older consoles, so that'll be there. Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming out next month. I don't know why they don't have a date on here, but it is for sure like
Keep
May 15th.
guessing.
Halo Infinite, maybe, if they make the game look less plastic. Lord of the Rings Gollum, which we talked about last one.
Son of a gun.
Horizon Forbidden West Zero Dawn sequel, and then God of War Ragnarok. Thoughts?
Those were a lot of names.
Mhm.
So Returnal looks interesting. Sci-fi stuff going on there. But as we mentioned in previous discussion, it's a PS5 exclusive. Does the PS5 exist? Yet to be seen.
I still think it's a myth.
It could be a myth. So Returnal looks fun and fine, but also so do unicorns. Deathloop looks interesting by the people over at Arcane, correct? Who made the Dishonored series, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I played and beat the first Dishonored, liked it a lot. I haven't gotten to the second one out of sheer laziness. Let's go with that. So Deathloop looks interesting. That was delayed till September, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you say? God of War, instant buy. They have my money on that one. You still need to beat the first one. There's always time. What else? New Horizon. That has my money as too. What? That has my money as well. So I'll get that. What else did you say? I'm trying to remember.
Halo
Far Cry
Infinite.
6.
That too?
Okay, yeah. Far Cry 6. I like the idea of the Far Cry games. I've enjoyed the ones that I've played. They're the kind of mindless, fun, run around a map and shoot a rooster and steal an RPG kind of game that you should enjoy. Gollum, been there, done that. Halo, that has my money as well. But also, it sounds as if that's still going to be on Game Pass day one, so they already have my money. So I look forward to playing that. I think those were the big ones, right? Oh, Resident Evil. Yep, I want to play it. Probably won't. I'll watch a stream. Maybe I will play it. I don't know. Regardless, I would play it on super easy mode, and then, I don't know, I'll probably just watch a stream. But
I'm in the same boat on that. I think with horror games in general, they just don't. And I just get frustrated when my bullets don't do anything, so...
Well, I mean, they put out a gameplay video or show off a few days ago, and the guy was shooting things and they were dying, you know?
Yeah, but
they were taking hits.
But do they stay dead?
It looked like they stayed dead.
Well, hey, that's an improvement over the last game for sure then, because I liked, there's like a lot of memes about it, the game Resident Evil 7, Waste of Bullets. Because that's literally what a lot of people were saying about it. Because it was more of just like, if you were going to lose, if there was a fight that they wanted you to die on, like you might as well just not even shoot your gun, just let yourself die because...
Sure.
Oh, you lost your arm.
Oh, yeah, right. If I may throw in an honorable mention, I believe Battlefield 6 title to be revealed is coming out this year as well. So if I were to pick a top 3 out of that list, and then we'll get to you, as far as anticipation goes, if I'm being realistic as far as which ones I'm actually going to have in my possession and play, I'm going to go with, I already forgot half of them. Let's go with 5 because I said God of War, Horizon, Halo Infinite. I forgot all the other ones. Hang on. I'm gonna throw in. I am gonna throw in Battlefield 6 because rumor says that they're returning to semi-modern times. There might be drones. Who cares? But I'm all in. If it's not gonna be World War I, that's what I said. One more. Hang on.
Deathloop.
Yeah, but to be honest, as I was looking up some of the photos of those games as you were talking, just as a refresher.
Mm-hmm.
Deathloop looks cool graphics wise and looks like a good time, but Returnal also looks interesting. So out of the two, I might lean more towards Returnal, but also it doesn't matter because I'm not going to be able to play it because PS5s are a mythical creature out in La La Land.
Yeah, and no update on that as far as I can tell. We still have a chip shortage, which are used to make the consoles and are used to make the graphics cards, which is why they're all. And we still have a massive problem with scalpers buying them up.
Right.
So that is still a problem. Who knows if they'll be able to fix that? Maybe a law will be passed, hopefully. For me, for games I am anticipating, my top 5.
Alrighty. Are any of them Pokemon, number 1?
No, I think that ship has sailed.
Okay.
For
you.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Okay. Ouch. When I was 8, he says.
Well, I mean, I grew up with Pokemon, but so did
right.
most Americans. And it's like, well, I don't know. The new games, I think they just kept making them. So it's weird. It's like, in my opinion, I feel like they've made them more and more towards kids these days where like games just play themselves and there's no point to actually own the game. But that also could just be me growing up and, well, it's not interactive enough or whatever. But rose-tinted goggles. I still look at the older games that they were difficult back then, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong.
But no, I think my number 1 is, of course, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I think a new Mass Effect game is also in production, so that's... I'm going to call it Mass Effect 4 because Andromeda doesn't exist. And
okay.
I don't know what they're going to actually title it, but I know it's back in the Milky Way. They're not doing Andromeda 2 or anything like that. And it's going to have some of the characters from the original trilogy. This is just turning into like Star Wars all over again, original trilogy versus like sequels. But whatever the case is, that's kind of how the fandom is. But there's very few people who actually like Andromeda. It's not. It's a little different. It's pretty unanimous there. But yes, I am excited. That is next month. So
yes,
I will pre-install it when they let me, the day of that they let me, and then I will play that game, all 3 of them, and all the DLC. So for my number 2, so God of War and Horizon, like I actually never played Horizon Zero Dawn. In fact, that was what I was going to play after God of War, but then I got playing a bunch of other games. So I want to finish God of War for Ragnarok, and if I find the time, which I don't know if that's going to happen, I'll try Zero Dawn, then maybe I'll want it. But no, I think God of War Ragnarok's also in my top 5, because even if I don't play it right away, you already know it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they could...
We better hope so at this point.
I don't think how they could ruin the formula they created. Actually, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, simply because I have so many memories playing the Lego games growing up.
Never hopped on that bandwagon, personally.
They're just fun. Like I remember...
I get the appeal.
Well, they're just fun, especially when you play like co-op with a friend or whatever. It's mostly just a big old collectathon in the Star Wars universe, which it's just mindless. So it's pretty fun. The rest of these, like, I guess Mario Golf could be fun when you have friends over.
Oh, gosh.
I never played Skyward Sword. That's the one Zelda game I've never tried. Mainly because it was like when it came out for the Wii, it was like you had to use the Wii remote to swing your sword or something, and it got bad reviews. Apparently, people say that it's actually better and that it was underappreciated. So, I don't know. Still not my cup of tea there. I don't know. It's just a lot of these games, not really that excited about myself. Halo Infinite, sure.
Side note, did you see that they just put out like a pretty substantial update for the Master Chief Collection and all that?
I didn't. What did they add?
Okay. Oh, you caught me with my pants down. Hang on. Keep talking. I'll pull it up super
Like actually
quick.
new content, or is it just like
Yeah. Yep. Hang on. Let's see.
well, while,
Update.
while you're looking that up, yeah, I think I'm most excited about probably Halo Infinite and Legendary Edition of Mass Effect. I think are probably the big two. There's really nothing else I'm looking forward to. I mean, World of Warcraft is releasing
Great.
their old expansion, Burning Crusade, so I'm excited for that, of course, but that isn't technically a new game. That's just a re-release of an old game.
Sure. Super quick. So I believe this is a reliable source. So take that as you will. So season 6, Raven, I guess it's called. Season 6 Raven has beginning 100 new tiers of customizations to unlock, including new armors based on Fireteam Raven and Halo Online for Halo 3, new back accessory customizations for Halo 3, new animated visors for Halo 3, new animated nameplates, new tech suit colors, and there's some other miscellaneous things in there as well. I believe that's accurate.
It's like a battle pass, right? It's just like a battle pass.
Yeah. Just I mean, the fact that they kind of came back to it, and you know what? I guess it's more as a response to them having to delay their own flagship title for a little while longer.
Mhm.
But anyway, continue.
I'm most of this list is not like super exciting to me, mainly because I kind of missed out on the whole PS4 exclusive train,
Sure.
God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, any of those games. I just really, because I mean, I got a PS4 way later, and by that point, I don't know, I just hadn't tried it. Felt like I missed the train there, but they could be really good. I'm sure they're going to be good because their prequels were all top tier games. So we'll see how that goes. But besides just straight up new games, there's also big deals on games right now on the stores. Like Ghost of Tsushima is like 33% off. Which I heard that game is really good, playing as a samurai running around. And
we talked about it, right?
Yeah. So
I beat it. I got to play it and I actually beat it. That was one of my successes.
It looks like a fun game.
You didn't give me as much credit as I deserve for doing that.
Here, you have a little clap.
There we go. All right, very good.
Also, Bloodborne Complete Edition for all the masochists out there. It's a rough game. It's really, really fun. It's a really good game. I just mean rough as in the difficulty.
Right.
Outer Worlds is 60% off, and I guess if you want to pick it up and buy the DLC, I still haven't tried those.
Heard it's really good though. One of the new DLCs or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I just have only played the base game. But so there it is. There's other deals like Overwatch Legendary Edition, Resident Evil 2. I imagine that means the remake. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, some older games. But if you haven't played any of them, speaking of games that are not explicitly new, I wanted to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because that came out for the PS4, and two mixed reactions. There were people that absolutely loved this game, and then there were the crowd that absolutely hated this game.
Is that pre-remake or post-remake?
Post-remake. The original Final Fantasy VII was like critically acclaimed, one of the best RPGs of all time. Most people say it's the best Final Fantasy, whatever. I haven't played them all, so I can't make that claim. But what I will say is that the remake, so the original game is really long, right? In fact, it came on like multiple discs, one of those PlayStation 1 games where they couldn't fit it all. It's a really long game. But the remake, they squished it all down to just the first starting area and made it a full, and then they stretched that into a full game. At the rate they're going, they're going to have to make like 6 games for the full remake. So a lot of people have been saying,
did that? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go.
I'm sorry. Did that? Forgive me. Did that come out recently or was that last year? Because I'm having flashbacks of hearing about how, like what you just said, they stretched out more or less that beginning section and made that the full game.
Yeah, that might have been last year or the year before. It's pretty recent.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And so people were complaining about that. For one, I played Final Fantasy VII. I loved it. It was really long. It took me a long time to get through. But at the same time, it was just the gameplay was really good. All the RPG elements in your characters, how you set them up, and the combat I really liked. they changed it. It's no longer turn based because they were trying to get a new audience, which they found. It's apparently a good action game, but they butchered the story. If so, their reasoning for only doing Midgar, which is the starting city, for only doing that as the game, was that, well, the game is really long, and when you remaster it to the graphics we're doing, you can't fit it all on one disc or whatever. So then why stretch Midgar out to 30 hours? Midgar was 4 hours in the original game. You could have made the Final Fantasy VII Remake into 2 parts. You could have fit the whole game into 2 parts, but instead, they're going to make it like... And so, of course, my argument and the argument of a lot of people who actually played it and felt this way, felt it was a money grab. It was just a cash grab.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who were trying to defend it were like, no, it's really fun. You should play it. You should play it. And then they do, and it's not the same. It's not what people wanted. So it feels like they just threw the Final Fantasy name on there to get people to buy it, and that it's just a money grab. And to add on to that, they're already re-releasing the Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out last year or whatever, called Intergrade, just so they can put it on PlayStation 5 and it not be the same thing, make it 4K, is all they're changing, and they're adding a short story where you play as Yuffie, who is the least popular character in the entire game of the original. So it's obvious at this point that they're just making a killing out of this, and they're just milking it for all they can. And I don't think we're actually ever going to see the full game come out, is my point.
Is this Square Enix, or who is this?
Yes.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it feels like a cash grab. I mean, it is a cash grab, regardless of how people want to. I mean, whether or not it's a good game is debatable, but it is. When you do that, when you squish the game and then stretch it back out, you've already lost your point. Like, I know you wouldn't be able to fit the whole game on one disc. There's no way remastering the 200-hour JRPG into one amazing next-gen game. That's no way you're going to get it all in one disc. I understand that. 2 parts,
sure.
Maybe 3. Not even then, I would call that into question. But they only got through the first 4 hours of the 200-hour game in the first one. At that rate, we're never going to see it end. They're just going to keep making millions on it, and the fans are just going to keep buying it.
If I may be sassy, part of me thinks that, like you said, that they're attempting to milk some of this in hopes to remake all of the money that they more than likely lost on their Avengers endeavor. But I have no information to back that up. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Silly.
Is that also Square Enix?
Yeah.
Really?
Right. Hang on. Yeah, it is, right? Hang on. I have the case right here.
He's going to get the case. That would be interesting if it actually is Square Enix, because I hadn't really thought of that.
Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics.
Okay, so they did help make it. So maybe what they should do is turn down offers to work on other IPs and focus on their own games and actually make it work.
Good.
Well, I was just going to say, it's a bad taste, It just leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Sure. Well, I was going to say that going off of Square Enix and bad tastes in your mouth, the Avengers game.
Yeah, that too.
Haven't come back to that or discussed. I haven't booted it up in a while, but since it has come out, I believe that they have put out 2. It's not DLCs, 2 expansions, whatever they're called, additions. I don't know, additions in the sense of Hawkeye and what's her name? I was gonna say Kate Bishop, who is Hawkeye Part 2. I think Black Panther is supposed to be coming later this year. I think I remember hearing that and things like that. So they're still trucking along as far as that is concerned. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes these AAA games come out, and what in the world were they thinking is all you can really go. Isn't there a ton of microtransactions in Avengers? Isn't it loaded with it?
Yeah. Again, I haven't been on in a significant amount of time. Like at least 3 months since I had my child. They might have changed some of it. There was a good amount in there that you could buy with, was it in-game currency? I can't remember, to be honest, so I should probably just not talk about it.
Yeah, I did hear some things, but it's been a while, like you said. But one thing we talked about before the cast was Republic Commando coming to the Switch. It's on the consoles. It's a port, it looks like. It might be an HD upscale. It looks a tiny bit better than I remember. But then again, it's been over 15 years since I've played the original, so I don't know.
Did you beat it?
I doubt it.
Okay.
The game was
So there's still
hard.
time.
The game was hard, and I was 9 or 10 years old, so I doubt that I beat it. I knew
Sure.
my 10-year-old self, and he was not very competent at games. So,
goodness.
But it's out now, or it's coming out, and I think it's on another platform, like Xbox, you said?
Yeah. I think it has been on Xbox for a while because they brought back the older Star Wars games like Jedi Outcast and things like that. And I think, and again, I could be misquoting, that it's just now coming to the PlayStation Store.
Okay.
I would love to play it again on Switch specifically, just to kind of. That was not going to be a pun to switch it up. I'm sorry. But also, I'm reminded that I don't have a Switch currently. But also, then I'm like, man, maybe it might be worth an investment to get another Switch Lite as my child grows. It's a safe little console. Also, I get to play it. I don't know. Another conversation for another time.
I do think if you were going to rebuy a Switch, that's the one I'd go for, especially if you play it mostly in handheld mode.
Oh, that's the only time I ever played my other one. I never docked it.
You see, I dock mine mostly, but that's just me.
Yeah, and I mean that's the point of having both options.
Mhm.
But I think I'm self-aware enough to know that I don't think I would ever do that, because the main reason for me to get a Switch would be to not have to play it on a TV.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think my only problem with the Switch undocked is that it ends up getting really, really hot, and not even in super long play
Sure.
sessions either. And I just don't want to hold it. It's uncomfortable to hold at that point. Plus,
Your hands are burning.
in the dock form, I more easily can use my Switch Pro controller, which is 9 times better than the Joy-Cons. So, plus,
Hot take.
I mean, you've heard about the Joy-Con drift problem, maybe.
Of course.
And the Pro controllers don't have nearly as many cases of that. So, and mine doesn't have it, which is awesome.
A point proven.
But I want to report
Oh,
on my playing sessions that I have the backlog of games that I had kind of how we talked about in an earlier episode of the podcast where you were like in the middle of 4 books and you were trying to get through them.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say that I don't think that's changed much.
I'm in the same boat with the games, and I am making a lot of progress. I am almost done replaying through Persona 5 because Persona 5 Royal came out. And it was one of those games where, as you play through the game, you had to make sure you did certain things to unlock the DLC to get into that content, because it was just some RPGs do that, where
You didn't have to pay for it. You just had to unlock it somehow, the DLC?
well, you did. It was a new game, so it was like Persona 5 Royal was a new release on the PS4 and I think it's on 5 and Switch or whatever. But the DLC is unlocked. So the way Persona 5 works is it's time based. You have like every day is a day in the game, and you have your certain actions you can take every day, and then the new day starts. And so there's like and your character's in school. So to unlock the 3rd semester, which is the DLC semester, you have to make sure certain characters like you enough, and you've done certain things. It's not too complicated, and they announced what it was. But my first playthrough, I didn't know that, and so I completely missed my chance to. So this second playthrough, it's a long game, but I enjoy it, so I'm having fun playing it again. I'm nearly done with the original, and I actually meet the criteria for the DLC, so I'll get to play that.
Very good.
Then I'll be done with it. I'll get to put it aside, and then I'll get to finally get back to all the rest of my backlog. I want to finish Fire Emblem on the Switch, and I want to play God of War. I want to finish that.
Gotta finish God of War.
So those 2 games will be what's left on my backlog. And so there's that. I've also been playing a lot of Mario Kart because
all right. I'm
having fun with it.
Right. Well, and you have your squad over for Mario Kart. It's not like you're just playing in your spare time, right?
Well, that and Mario Party, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. Talk about logs.
Mhm.
This doesn't necessarily fall into past logs, but maybe upcoming logs.
Upcoming,
okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. It didn't make sense. It didn't have to. No. So I, for real, was indeed thinking about the game Days Gone recently. It is a zombie game.
Oh,
you may recall, for PlayStation exclusive. I think it came out in 2019. because I don't think it came out during last year. Maybe it did. But I was like, man, zombie games are fun and stuff. Oh, complete side note, we forgot to mention Back for Blood on that upcoming list. That's the zombie game made by the Left 4 Dead people. But anyway, that was delayed too, so it's fine. But Days Gone. I heard some decent things about it. Not that it, shattered any expectations or anything, but just that it was a solid game and there may be a sequel. So I was like, man, I still have my PlayStation, and talk about PlayStation exclusives. Didn't get to that one. And I can't remember how I ended up seeing it, but long story short, it's on the freaking PlayStation Store for like the free game of the month or whatever.
Well, there you go.
So I know. So I got that. That should be downloaded by now. I started the download last night. So that's waiting for me. Really looking forward to that. Also on Game Pass and on the PlayStation Store, Zombie Army 4 Dead War is on there. And if I remember correctly, this is the, oh man, and I could get flamed for this because I could be so off. I believe this is the zombie spinoff of the Sniper Elite games. Do you remember that?
What's the name of this? I need to look this up.
It's Zombie Army 4, specifically this one, Dead War. But do you remember the Sniper Elite games? It was World War II setting. You're a sniper. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, it is made by the same people who made that. So
okay, all right, yeah. And it looks like a good old time. And so talk about logs and things and zombies. Go figure. So those two are on my radar.
Speaking of zombie games, you've probably heard of these, the House of the Dead games, where it was like an arcade zombie game where you had the gun and you the dialogue and the story's really, really bad and cheesy, but you're just trying to kill zombies on screen, survive as long as you can. Well, they made a version of it for Steam on the computer called Typing of the Dead, which is
great.
A lot of people have been playing that again, and it's really funny to watch. So a zombie will appear and a word will be on the zombie, and you have to type it to kill them. And every time you press a key, it fires a bullet. So it's like you're using a machine gun pretty much to mow zombies down.
Is that just what came to your mind when I'm talking about zombies?
I don't know why. I just saw someone playing it the other day, and I was like, hey, I played that game. It was fun. You have to be a pretty fast typer to beat it, but that was just something interesting.
I love interesting things.
But I mean, we talked about how we both had played Dishonored, but neither of us have played the sequel.
Correct.
The first game was good, but I felt content. Like I didn't need any more Dishonored in my life. So,
and that's totally fine. I think that is a responsible, mature decision to make, to say that, you know what, that was enough. It's kind of like thinking that Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, that was enough. I'm good. I'm satisfied for now. Maybe in the distant future, they'll make something better, something new and exciting. Surely not a game based on Smeagol and or Gollum, but something more interesting and better. I don't know. Just some thoughts there.
Though, if they made an HD remaster of The Third Age, I would be playing that game for sure.
Yo, I would too. I remember very little about it just because my brother and I only played it like when it first came out. And I don't even really usually like turn-based games like that, but it's all about setting. I'm sorry. Rabbit trails galore. HBO Max, currently, as of today, at least that I checked, all three extended editions of the trilogy are on there of Lord of the Rings. So for a while it was only Return of the King, but they are all on there. All on there now? I want a stroke.
If you haven't sat down and watched all three of them in a single day.
You're preaching. You got really serious there for a second. Keep going.
If you haven't done that yet in your life, I recommend taking a day where you have nothing planned till everyone...
Forsake your family.
Drag them along and watch all three in a day. Of course, you're going to need breaks. You're going to need... The way we did it originally where the movies were 2 discs. I guess if you're watching it on HBO Max, that's not the case. But take breaks in between movies, maybe a lunch break or something. But watch all three in a day.
Yeah, maybe a lunch break.
It is long. If you have to be a fan to enjoy this, but it is incredible, and it'll be something you can tell all your friends. Look, I spent 11 and a half hours.
Good Lord.
It's not really that long. That was including all the breaks we took. It's probably more like 9 to 10 hours, but it is long.
Sure. Well, so Fellowship is 3 hours and 48 minutes extended. Two Towers is 3 hours and 55 minutes extended. And Return of the King is...
He's looking.
4 hours and 23 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look. That's why it took so long. I wasn't just trying to be annoying.
Yeah, so
that's some time.
Yeah, so it's long. And, it took a while. We actually did it at it was like our youth group at my old church watched all of them in the main sanctuary on the projectors, which was interesting. We got to do that, and we spent all day there watching those movies. But it was a feat of strength.
Right, and of pure might, if I may say.
Yes, to bundle up in blankets on church chairs watching a movie.
Very good.
A bunch of movies. But we did, and it was good. And it is an experience, and it is something that no other movie trilogy, you could do it with any trilogy, but it kind of makes more sense with The Lord of the Rings because it's so long.
Right.
That this is just the vibe. You just do this. You just watch
the vibe,
this movie.
Man.
And I recommend it. If you can't do them all in one day, whatever, at least if you haven't watched The Lord of the Rings, even if you don't think it's for you, you should still try it. These are like cinema perfection.
I agree, and I could go on longer, but for the sake of everyone else, I'll put a cap in that. I only have one more thing to get off of my chest, if you would be so kind as to let me. Is that all right?
Go ahead.
I didn't mean to sound pretentious. I'm just that was more of me just saying I have one more thing, and I should have interjected back when you were talking about the remakes and things like that. I'm not sure if you heard about this, and I'm not sure if this has been confirmed or not yet. It sounds like Sony and the powers that be are looking into remaking the first Last of Us. Did you hear about that?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, with the reception that 2 got, which wasn't exactly positive all the way around,
is that the unanimous thing now? Is that it was mostly not liked, or from what you've been hearing, or what's the consensus as of now, being a little bit more removed?
There is definitely a vocal minority who loves it. I think they mostly love it despite the people who don't, though it comes across as that. It's mostly just people on Twitter I've seen, which Twitter's a cesspool, so I can't really take their word as
great.
But no, I mean, it gets good Metacritic reviews, and a lot of people who take the time to go out of their way to review it say it was good. But people really don't like Abby, and she is 10 hours of the game, and they killed off people's favorite character. Spoiler alert, which, I mean, that's just our podcast at this point. And
whoops.
I don't understand why they did that, because this game could have been unanimously loved, and they took it in a direction nobody wanted. So while I do think there's a community of people that love the game, there's also a community of people that probably won't try the remake of the first game, even though they may have liked it, because they're still bitter,
Interesting. Would you be one of those people?
I never played any of them.
You haven't played the first one?
No, and I was going to, and then I heard
Really?
about what happened in the second one, and now I don't want to.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, what a bummer. Well, thankfully, I got to play the first one years before this had occurred. And I haven't played the second one. I have nothing against whatever, mainly because I haven't heard, I don't know.
It's like...
I'm not educated enough to say.
No, I've heard the first one is an amazing game. A lot of people heralded it as the best PS4 game when it came out. It was also on PS3, right? I believe it was.
Yeah,
which is wild to think that.
It is insane.
But at the same time, it's a shooting horror themed game. So it's really not my cup of tea. But if people liked it, they liked it.
If you like it, then you like it. But if you don't like it, then you don't.
It's also why I just haven't really played any of the Resident Evils, even though I've heard oh, you should play Resident Evil 4. It's like the best game ever made. And I never tried it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can kind of relate in regards to Mass Effect.
Hey, I'm not saying it's the best game ever made.
Not a negative. But I'm not saying it's a negative thing.
Never once have I said it's the best game ever made. I said it's my favorite game ever made.
Okay, that's fine.
I will admit there is a difference between quality and my personal preference. I do think they're good games.
Sure.
But I wouldn't go out of my way to say they're the best games ever, mainly because I haven't played every game in existence, so I can't make that claim.
You shill.
But yes, the remasters are coming, and I do wish other people besides me would try them.
Man, we're gonna do like a frickin' mark my words. Also, I think we said last week that we were gonna do Cyberpunk this week. We didn't, and we don't have to. So anyway, I feel like we need to do like a Mass Effect, and by we I mean you. You need to like set up a Mass Effect Overload themed episode like week leading up to the release, and just bestow upon me.
I
don't
can
know.
do that.
I mean, maybe we'll put some parameters on it, to reel it in.
You do
but
know who
maybe
you're
we'll-
talking to, right?
I know. We'll streamline it a little better.
Do you
But
know-
I think that would be.
Speaking of that, do you know the Quiz Up
Oh,
app?
no.
Have you heard of that? You like take
Yes.
quizzes and you get ranked among other people.
Sure.
I played the Mass Effect one, and I was number 1 in the state of Illinois, and I was number 4
Oof.
in the country for the trivia game
Interesting.
of Mass Effect. Because
I'm talking to royalty.
I just knew the answer to every single question at this point.
intense.
Like I played the series so much, but everyone has that one game that they played to death. I think that sounds like a good idea, and I could totally do something like that. Maybe I'll be able to. Maybe that's the goal. I have to try to convince you through it to play the games.
It's not even that I need convinced. We've been through this. I will not fall into this trap.
Too
I
late.
don't need to be convinced. Oh my gosh. What else? You got anything else before we wrap this nonsense up?
Well, we talked about how we're going to get together and watch Black Widow all together.
Yeah. Yep.
So that'll be interesting. We'll see maybe if Brother Chris and his family want to join us.
Brother Chris.
That will be interesting.
He maybe listens.
Maybe we can then get him onto a podcast episode to talk about the movie afterwards.
I'm telling you, man, that'd be a great time. He needs to saddle up.
So we have a lot of cool ideas. We're trying things. Also, announcement. I think we talked about this in the last episode, but we have a Twitter page. We're
We do.
possibly going to make a Facebook page.
Yep. I'm in the thick of that as we speak, getting some of that thrown together and making sure it's not just another stain on someone else's Facebook page.
But
How about that, huh?
the Twitter page is up, so you can search Greater Mythos Podcast on Twitter, and we should be the only result because there's no one else named like us, which is awesome.
No one else wanted to be associated with that name.
So you can look us up, you can follow us there, and it'll mostly just be updates about when we're releasing the new episodes. We might actually post other stuff on there, but that is something you can do.
And if we get more than 2 followers, then maybe we'll even do a poll now and then to see what the next thing should be.
Exactly.
Because if it's just one person, then their word is null and void. So,
But
I
hey,
don't
they'll
know.
have
I'm
that
just-
privilege as being our sole
They'll have that-
follower. They'll be our manager, and they decide everything for us. So
Oh Lord. All right. Well, so Twitter, Facebook is coming, whatever that means. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Podcasts. New episodes every week. That's what we do. That's why we're here, to spread
It is.
joy, to take up 30 to 45 minutes of your time in your ears and just hopefully make you grin. I know
Yes.
I'm grinning.
I know we mostly talk about a lot of news, but most of the time, even if you've already heard it, we put our thoughts out there, our opinions out there. We have different
For what it's worth.
yeah, for what they're worth. Random 2 people named Josh on the internet. But
So good. What are the odds?
hey, if you agree with our opinions, then you too can be an honorable Josh if you want to.
Great. Oh no, what a title. All right, we're dipping out of here.
Hello.